Hi, my name is Leslie Klein, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I am not going to show you how to make a card. We're going to make these cute little mini albums. Is inspired by another demonstrator from Australia named Michelle. She made this beautiful album and I made it along with her video yesterday, and I fell in love with the idea and I want to make up a few different ones as gifts. So I figured I'm gonna switch the sweets that I'm using and maybe change it up a little and walk you guys through how to put one together. So I'm gonna show you a little closer. So it's a cute album. She featured these Scalloped Contours dies, which we are definitely sticking with. It ties closed, which is nice. You just pull the ribbon. And you have these cute pages where somebody you could yourself, or if you give it as a gift, put together a little mini scrapbook album with some wallet size photos or some 3x3 photos, 2x2 photos. There's also little white spots for journaling, some pull out tags. You could put gift cards in there. There's lots of options. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this today, but we're going to be using the Nature's Harvest suite. So with that, let's get started. I did a little bit of prep work. So for the album pages, I picked 4 colors that coordinated with the suite. We're going with Crumb Cake, Soft Succulent, Misty Moonlight, and Bumblebee. For the hinges for the pages, so these, we're going to use white because I felt like it coordinated. It's in like the DSP and stuff like that. So your hinges, so you need 4 each of each color cut with the largest Scalloped Contours die, except for the Misty Moonlight, I did 6 of each because that's going to be our front and back covers. So to get started, we're going to attach our pages to each other. So to do this, if I can figure out, there it is. I used grid paper, which she did in her video, and I thought it was pretty clever. And I lined this up with my middle scallop. And then I circled lines so I knew where I want to put my glue, so we can try to keep our hinges all even on all of our pages. So these, you're going to get a lot of half circles everywhere. Mine are all over the floor. I get to vacuum them up later. You just pop out relatively easy. So we're going to take, I have white paper that I've cut 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches, and you're going to need 24 of these total because you need 3 for each set of 2 pages. And just fold them in half. This is a somewhat lengthy project. I tried to do some prep work before I jumped in here with you guys. And take our multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay, so to line this up, so I used my grid paper as I've stated, and I put it so that my scallops were just above my black line outlining the end of the grid. And I'm going to do a dot of glue on the inside edge of those scallops. And then we're going to take, so our creased edge is going to be towards us. So, and I lined that up with that black line. So it was just surpassing those scallops. It hangs just over them so that our pages can open freely. Okay, and then for this one, so you're gonna take the pretty side. So you've got the one side that's in the top part, it's pretty, it's got the nice edge, and then this would be the back side of the paper. So we're gonna take face side down, and we're gonna put little glue. Try to keep this again on the inside of the scallops this time so that it doesn't, you don't want the glue to smush out into your scallops. So face against face and line those up. Make sure your scallops are all, like I said, lined up. And then you have 2 opening pages. This is going to get covered by our DS piece, so part of these hinges will be hidden. So we get to put a bunch of these together. We should have, at the end of it, 8 sets of pages. So 16 pages total. Some of these just kind of get stuck. I put to make the lining up of it quick so I didn't have to fight to figure out the center scallop. I did draw lines here and here so I have an idea of where the edge of this cut piece should line up. I just love these little mini albums. I'm going to give one to my mom and one to my best friend. I was thinking one might make a good gift for my fiance's mom for Christmas. It'd be cute to use for all kinds of things. You could do like a little travel journal or a pocket journal or things you're thankful for in it. A photo album. You could really get creative with it. You could do them for all different things too. So like she did a Christmas one, which was the first one I did. This one I feel like would be cute if you did additional pages. So did enough pages to do, say, 30 days for November, and you know, each day what you're thankful for the month of November, I think would be cute. A little guest book for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for a baby shower, for people to write, or a wedding even, people to write their best wishes for you in and sign in. So how I paired these color-wise was I cut 4 of these out in each color that I picked. There is another coordinating color for the Sweet Calypso Coral. You could absolutely incorporate some of that instead of one of these colors or with these colors. I don't have Calypso Coral paper. Well, not an 8.5 by 11. I've got like 2 sheets of it in a 12 by 12 and I didn't want to use it up. So I paired 2 crumb cakes with soft succulents, and then I paired crumb cakes with Misty Moonlight, and then Misty Moonlight with Bumblebee, and then sets of Bumblebee and soft succulent was how I did that. So, and I did like 2 each sets for those. Building up like the base of the album does take a little bit of time. It's also the bulk of the work though, so once that's done, it comes together fairly easy, I feel like. And the whole thing's honestly easy to put together. The initial demonstrator that I learned how to do this from did it, I feel like, flawlessly. Really take your time with making sure that these are stacked evenly and nicely and everything lined up, because that will give you a better end result, I feel like. Will look much nicer and cleaner. It does go fairly quick though. Once we get this piece of crumb cake on here, we will already be halfway through this. It's a lot of die cutting and gluing to get such a beautiful end result. My mind was racing with all of the ideas and possibilities for these last night. So I did the Christmas one, and I want to do this one, and I'm thinking about doing one with the artistically inked suite. I think would be just beautiful. One with the pansies even. Pulling some of these off, I am accidentally, of course, ripping the back of this a little. I just must have not cut mine well. That's okay because these pages are they're going to be glued on the back together, so that will be hidden, so I'm not terribly worried about it. This is Not that we want to wreck it or anything, but I feel like when it's handmade, it's okay if you... It's okay to mess up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll just fold these in half. Bumblebee is such a pretty yellow. I love mustard yellow. That's what it looks like to me. My mom and I are both big fans of the color mustard yellow, and it's funny because both of our guys, so for her, my dad, and for me, my fiance, don't like the color mustard yellow. So my mom buys clothes that are mustard yellow because she likes them, but then she doesn't wear them because my dad doesn't like them, and she wants him to like what she wears and like obviously like, you know, like attraction and whatever. And so then she'll purge her closet and give me all of the mustard yellow things because dad didn't like them. And then I wear them and my fiance doesn't like them, and I've told him, you know, mom gets rid of it to appease dad, but I'm not going to get rid of it to appease you. You don't have to like my sweater today. And I love that you had that Bumblebee and the Misty Moonlight together in the suite, because mustard yellow paired with blue, I feel like, is one of the greatest color combinations of all time. Like, look at how pretty those are next to each other. I always said when I have my own house, when I own a house, I mean, I live in a house, I have my house, but when I own my own house and I can paint and do whatever I want to it, that I want to have a really pretty blue house with like a mustard yellow or a canary yellow door. Right, last sets. I like double cut these, so I layered 2 pieces of paper to get the most I could out of my cardstock. I cut my 8.5 and 11 cardstock down, so I had, you know, 8.5 by 5.5, and then I stacked them on top of each other and cut these 2 at a time, and I think that's why the first one's coming out completely cut and these are still stuck in the second one. So, but if you do that, you can get all 4 of these with 1 piece of cardstock. All 4 for like each color. Save some of your cardstock. I see I'm going out of the camera a little bit there. I'm just popping out these little half moons, half circles. You are not missing anything. Hey, Grandma gives me constructive criticism on my videos, and that was her complaint on my last one, is when I was holding things. She said, you bring it out of view of the camera, and we can't see. So, I'm working on that this time. I'm trying to show you how to do something. Showing you doesn't really help if I'm not showing you and you can't see it, I suppose. Okay. Last 6 of these. Okay, I'm going to line this up just above our line. Boop, boop, and boop. Bring our creased edge all the way to our black line, hanging just over the scallops. Michelle was a bit smarter than me in the sense that, probably in a lot of senses, she had most of this part done already and prepped before she went on video, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood how to do it. And so I figured if we just have to have a little bit of a longer video today, that's okay. You guys can always fast forward through this part if you've really got it down. It will not hurt my feelings. Okay, so now we attach all of our pages together so we have an actual book and not just a bunch of sets of pages. So I'm going to be a little fussy about how I put these in order. I just don't want like these two right next to each other, you know what I mean? So we're going to go this. Okay. So I'm going to start here, and then we're going to take these 2 pages and we're going to glue these 2 back to back. So to do this, cover this in glue, and then again we're just going to line up our scallops. And again, guys, really take your time with this, because look how nice, because they're all lined up. If they weren't, these would be staggering and you wouldn't just see through them. It wouldn't be a nice scallop. You'd have a bunch of paper and whatnot. So just really take your time with that. Okay. Actually, might go out of order a little bit. Okay. I really try to get this close to the edges so people don't think, oh, there's another page there, and there's not. and then pull it apart. Giving our glue a workout today. My order of glue just came in the mail. I like finding ways to incorporate Stampin' Up into my scrapbooking. I'm very big on scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking. And these little mini albums are just nice and quick, and do so much different stuff with them. I've done some that are square 6x6 albums. Okay, so you're all done. It should have something like this. So now everything here is doubled, but our covers aren't. So that's why we cut the extra 2 pieces of the Misty Moonlight. But first we're going to add our tie for our ribbon. So this is what comes with the suite. You get the diamond weave ribbon, and I thought this might be a little thick to try to have somebody repeatedly tie a bow with. Let's see. I could just, well, that might be okay. All right. I'll move that one off to the side then. Okay, so you want to make sure when we're doing this that there's enough out here to actually make a bow. So here on this one that I made yesterday, it's rather short, and I am able to tie a bow with it, but I also craft for a living. So somebody else might really struggle with these small pieces and not have the coordination. And it's really hard, I feel like, to get a pretty bow with it unless you're going to sit and fuss with it. And so I'm going to make sure I do it a little longer this time. So to assist ourselves, we're going to use this. And I have it centered so it's laying over the middle hinge. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over. add some to this side. Okay. And then we're gonna grab our 2 pieces of Night of Navy, or Misty Moonlight. Sorry, that is not Night of Navy. Bad Leslie. Make sure we've got all of our scallops popped out. Coffee break. Gonna make sure we get our daily dose of socially acceptable chemical dependency. Haha. It's coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker. Okay. Boop, onto my floor. All right. Some glue. So I don't know how necessary it was, but I made sure that I put glue over the ribbon too. Then again, lining up our scallops. That was the back. So now we're going to do our front. Make sure that's still over our hinge and in the center how we want it. I've got a loose pin just hanging out here, so I'm just gonna put that back. Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna do the cover. So the cover, I've already cut all of the pieces for, but I'm gonna tell you what I did. So obviously we have this piece in Misty Moonlight with the largest scallop. I then took that same die and cut this piece of the DSP and trimmed off the scallops. So this is just going to layer in the center, but you'll still have the Misty Moonlight scallops. Okay. Again, try to line that up. Try to avoid having that going over your scallops. Should fit pretty perfect considering we cut it using the die we're covering. Okay, I then took a piece of crumb cake and ran it through the Time Worn Type embossing folder and cut it with the next largest scallop die from the Colored Contours. going to place that centered. I then used the next size down and cut a piece of Misty Moonlight. And again, we're going to center that. I then used that same die and cut some of the cork specialty paper. And then on this one, you have the stitching. And I, on that line, cut so that this will sit just on that stitching. So you have your pretty blue scalloped edge. Now we are going to do some stamping for our cover, but we're going to wait and we're going to do the insides of our pages first. Okay. So take our cute little book and set it off to the side for now. We're going to get out our paper trimmer. So to fit on the inside of these, Michelle cut these at 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. She mentioned that she could have maybe done a little more for the width. So if you look, there's not much room for top and bottom, but she's got a little bit more of that color peekabooing on the sides. So we're gonna do 3 1/4 plus 1/8 for the width and 4 5/8 for the height. So we're going to cut 4 5/8. So on your trimmer, if you're not great with fractions, I'm not either, but we mathed successfully last night and today. So if you have the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, or if you have another paper trimmer where yours is 1/16 opposed to 1/8, a reduced fraction is just both the top and bottom divided by the same number, right? So if you have 4 5/8, if you have 1/16 on here, which would mean you have 16 lines in between your inch opposed to 8, that's going to be 4 10/16. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which should fall on the half, 9, 10. So 2 marks after your half. Otherwise, if you have yours is 1/8, you're going to count over 5, right? Okay. So then, man, this one I feel like it actually really matters for how the pattern is, because this one's very up and down. Okay, so we're actually going to do 3 1/4 plus 1/8. We're going to cut that. I'll have to use that strip somewhere else. This is a very up and down pattern. If I had cut this the way I was going to, our flowers would have been side to side. Okay, so now 4 5/8, which we know is 2 marks after the half, so that should go pretty quick now. 4 5/8. Okay. 3 1/4 plus 1/8. And then 4 5/8. So I got out one of each sheet of the DSP, and we're really gonna feature this DSP in this album. So we're gonna cut some different sheets of each of it. So here we've got, if you flip these, 2 of both sides of that. Then here, I've got a spot over there for some reason, so we're going to avoid that side. 3 1/4 plus 1/8. Four and 5/8 here. 1, 2. That's all I have out for that paper, but I really like that one, so I think I'm gonna find another sheet of it. Four, 5/8. Three 1/4 plus 1/8. 3 1/4 plus 1/8. Checking my patterns on to make sure it doesn't matter which way they're cut. That was not even. I budged that. That's okay. Then 3 1/4 plus 1/8. 3 1/4 plus 1/8. 3 1/4 plus 1/8. See, now this one on this side, it doesn't matter, but on this side it will. You want this up and down. So we're gonna want this to be our width, which is 3 1/4 plus the 1/8. And then on this one, again, it's going to matter. So you want your width-wise to be 3 1/4 plus 1/8. make sure I order more of this paper before it retires. So remember that our mini catalog is done at the end of December. So if you're after anything from it, you are getting short on time. So much of it has been back ordered lately. On the Penguin Place bundle, it's supposed to be in stock this week, and I just keep checking the inventory. Okay, so now we're going to open this up, and we should, now that we're done, have all of these different patterns, and we're going to decide which papers to use to decorate. Just laying all of these out so I know what my options are. And I've already mentioned that I love blue on mustard yellow, so we're going to start there. And what do we think for here? Yes, I like that. I think adding that extra 1/8 of an inch helped. Okay, then flip your page. I feel like that might be too much mustard yellow because we've got that there. Do like that. And you don't have to do this exactly how I'm doing. You don't even have to use all of the DSP. If you have ones you don't like, or maybe there's ones you really like and you want to use just that, you could do all of them the same, all of them different. It's personal preference. We're going to go through too and add some little pockets with some pull-out tags on these as well. That mustard yellow and the blue. Look how pretty. It really is a great color combination. Don't think. Ooh, yes. Yes, yes. I feel like every Misty Moonlight page has had mustard yellow on it now, and I'm like, oh, I should maybe not do that. Okay. Well, coral looks nice with it. Ooh, okay. Look it, we broke out of our comfort zone today. An occupational therapist will be so proud. Right. We're getting there. Do that one there. Trying to decide what to not use on these pages, so I have it for the other one. Don't think we've used either of these yet, so let's do that one and that one. Let's see if we defaulted back to the blue and the yellow. This is the problem. Just can't stay away from it. Ooh. So that puts some of the coral in there too. Now, did we use any of this one? Yes. Okay. There it is. I feel like you can tell I definitely played favorites. Oh, see, we have this one 2 pages in a row now. Nope. Oh, drats. We're committed now. Oh, shoot. I mean, like, technically we could cover it. See, but then we have that one 2 pages in a row. Ugh. Leslie. Okay, give me a second. Could do that. Okay, figured it out. We're just apparently going to waste a little bit of DSP. Just cover that. Okay. And that also adds a little bit of thickness to the book. Okay, so now we're going to go through and add some pockets. So we are going to take some of our leftover scraps of cardstock. Michelle taught us how to make pockets too. So we're gonna do 3 1/4. Ooh, but we did those 3 1/4 plus 1/8, so that's gonna matter. So 3 1/4 plus 1/8 by 3 1/4 plus 1/8, and then we're gonna take. I'm gonna line that up so our corners are touching the 1/4 inch mark. And that is going to be our pocket for our tags or our gift cards or tickets and movie stubs. Okay, so 3 1/4 1/8. One more. For these, I don't think that I want pocket on the first page, so we're gonna go to the next one. And see, it will just cover the DSP, and I want to do the pocket to match my scallops, but you don't have to. You could do an accenting, do an accenting color, and then it coordinates with the other page. I like that. Okay, so for this, You want it to be a functional pocket, so keep your glue as close to the edge as you can and stay off of the diagonal. We're going to line this up with our DSP. Okay. Pocket's 2 pages in a row, though. Okay, so we need to find Tailor Made Tags. So I have a little book that has all my dies in it. I'm trying to figure out where it's at because I was going to cut some journal bits with tasteful labels. Where it's at. Oh, I just found it. Okay. I feel much better now. Okay, so I want to use this tag. I feel like it's a little more decorative. So we're going to cut. Oof. I feel like that could have been a little more centered. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we're going to pull out our die cutting machine, our base plate, okay, some white cardstock. I'm trying to work through scraps currently. I have a huge pile of them back there. You can't see it, thankfully. Okay. I'm back, friends. Okay. There's 3 of these because we have 3 pockets. Now you don't have to put these in every pocket, like I said. You could put some in it and then they could still tuck things into them, or you could pop gift cards in there, or you could leave them empty for them to fill. I'm just gonna put little tags in there for journaling. Makes it a little more interactive and fun. Even in my scrapbooking pages, I like little pockets and hidden journaling and flaps. Especially for families with kids, I feel like interaction just makes it a little more fun. Okay, so we have that. And then I want... see if we can find my tasteful labels. Would be a pretty decent size for journaling. Let's look at Stitch So Sweetly. I love that set. Well, at that rate, we might as well go with, just stick with our scalloped contours. Okay, I'm figuring it out, my peeps. We got this. I need a piece of white cardstock. So we're getting low on scraps now. That's what I'm trying to do. That will work. So I run that. Ooh, if we run it through just right, and we don't wiggle it at all, I think we can fit it. Let's see. Let's see how it comes out. Look at that. We did it. All right. Want some of my Simply Elegant trim for these tags. Let's look at our stamp set. I do think it would be fun to stamp a bit on these. So we could get some coordinating colors, Calypso Coral, Soft Succulent, and I think let's do Bumblebee. Grab Misty Moonlight too. Okay. I do like that. It adds a little bit of decoration. So let's do that on one of them. I'm gonna clean our stamp up before we put it in another color. Bumblebee. Some Misty Moonlight. Okay. We can't not do some stamping, right? So now take some of our trim and we're going to fold this in half. I made this probably a little longer than I need it. So we're going to take from the front, we're going to put our fold in. Oh, come on. Would probably help if I did it with my dominant hand, huh? Yep. And then we're going to take this and pull it through and kind of form another loop when we do. Look at that. And then just kind of tighten that. Cute. Trim those ends. Find a pocket. So I feel like that one shouldn't have the Misty Moonlight because the pocket's Misty Moonlight. We'll do Calypso Coral. Okay, now we're gonna take on pairs of pages that don't have pockets and maybe add a couple of journaling spots. Okay, now all that's left is to finish the front. So for the front, I had predetermined that I was gonna stamp some of these and color them with blends and then cut them out, and I thought that that would look really nice on the front. And it turns out that I don't have to stamp them because they're already stamped. I keep my spares when I have extras, and I just tuck them into my case, and I find them by happy accident when I go to make things. It's very convenient. Okay, so I think for this, do the top, the cinnamon cider. Okay, so for blends, the way I was taught to do them is you go all over with your light, then you go in with your dark and shade where you're going to want your shading. And then you go back over everything with your light. Okay. And we're going to do, don't be scared to swatch out your colors if you need to. So right now I'm using pumpkin pie, and I'm just trying to add, I want it to be a little darker where it's coming out of the top. I don't know what that would be called. The top of the cone flower makes me think of a mum flower, but mums are a totally different flower. So I know it's not. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, now I'm coming in with Daffodil Delight. But they didn't make bumblebee blends. I've got Mango Melody blends, but they're retired now. And I try to avoid using retired product in my videos because I don't want you guys to see something and, oh, I want to make it just like that. And then you can't because I'm using a product you can't get anymore. So we're going to figure this out with what we have for you guys. Oh, look at that. You put that dark Daffodil Delight in there and it just really, that helped. I feel better now. See, we don't need the Mango Melody blends. We've got this, right, guys? Right. I have gone pretty outside the lines on some of these. So, if you're going outside the lines on yours, don't you fret. Then we're going to come back in with our light Daffodil Delight. And blend it all in together. Right? Right. Okay. Now, we're going to use, I think I've got out Old Olive and Mossy Meadow because I don't know what I want to use. Ooh, that's pretty. We'll do the Mossy Meadow. I'm going to do these stems, right? So we're going to come in with our light. And then we're going to add some of our dark. Just going to add a little bit like to the leaves where I imagine that there would be shadowing. Went outside the lines a lot on those. I don't know why. I usually am much better at coloring. Okay. We need our cutting friend again. Got our stamps with our dies. Maybe. Okay. Line that baby up. Beautiful. Look at that. I think that really would look cute with the little wheat there. What do you guys think? I am a big fan. Well, either of these sentiments work as like a just because. A reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many. That would be a good one. Okay, so let's look at that. The die that it comes with does not trim that out. How would this? That would look really good right there. Okay, so we're going to take this sentiment. And we've got a little scrap of white here that will do us some justice. I'm going to use some Misty Moonlight. See if we can stamp this without smudging it. I appear a little shaky at the moment. Boosh. Bam. Good. Okay. So we're going to take that. Trying to decide. I'm never going to trim it out nice. That will look nice, I think. And then we'll finish it up with some of the metallic dots. Okay, so I want some dimensionals. I want to pop some of this up. So we're gonna take this little wheat grass stuff. Very carefully. Glue. This I'm just going to do flat because it's going to be like a kind of a background thing. Okay. Now, these are going to be longer than what I'm wanting. So I think I angled it a little more than what I was going for, so we're just kind of, okay. So we're gonna trim these a little bit. We're just gonna add a little dollop of glue. We're going to take pop dots, dimensionals, and put those on our cone flowers. It is okay to cut these if you need to. I'll show you a trick in a minute. Take your leftover bits on your ends and cut those for little pieces. You can also use that to cut strips for something like a stem for support. Okay. All right. So now we're going to peel off all these unnecessary bits. That. And then I think we will also pop up our sentiment. Part of it is going to rest on the flowers that are already popped up. Then again, take off all of these pieces that we don't need. All right, and then our final touch. Just going to be some metallic dots. And there we have, hang on. I feel like there was one too many. There was one too many metallic dots on there. Okay, there we have our completed mini album. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and have a nice weekend. Good day, good evening. Enjoy yourselves, and happy crafting. All right. Bye.